there, folks. Welcome to Star Metal Productions, and welcome to the third episode in our ttrpg game of Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. We'll talk a little bit more in a minute about what's gone on in the previous couple of episodes, but first, you'll notice a couple of things this evening. It's only my pretty face you can see tonight, due to a couple of different issues we've got going on here. But essentially, I will be your games master for this evening and narrating our story as it unfolds. And I am joined, as ever, by my two colleagues, compadres, rootin' tootin' ruthless outlaws, who will be making their way through the adventure this evening. Guys, do you want to introduce yourselves very quickly, and then we'll roll into our narrative?
All right. Hello, folks. Jack here. I am a floating, disembodied ghost voice once again. I was really hoping to be able to get back on camera because I don't like being off camera, but, you know, life complications. So, hopefully in our next series, well, I'll be running our next series, so I do very much hope I will be there for that. But yeah, today, half blind and with half a medicated brain, I will be playing Clarence the Ghost.
Excellent.
I am the Eye, and I have an issue where the closest sun to my proximity has decided to glare itself into my back, which is causing the images of me to be slightly bothersome. So we will not be seeing me either, but we will continue as it were.
Absolutely. Okay, right. So, a quick recap for those of you who haven't joined us before. Essentially, the story is that our two heroes here have been brought back from the dead in a town way back when rootin' tootin' cowboys stalked the land. These two fine gentlemen have been brought back by a local necromancer and told that they must protect the town from some kind of oncoming devastation that would happen this night. Not given much choice, they decided to go around the town and start finding out what was going on. We had a visit to a bar. We accidentally murdered one of the sons of a major house that was involved in the town. And then last time, after finishing up freeing a strange young gentleman from the local jail, our fellows decided to check out the silver mine at the very top of the town, where, after taking on some werewolves for the first time, they discovered a strange, huge onyx gun handle stood on a pedestal under a depiction of what looked like some kind of religious effigy. Having thought this was a little bit strange, they came back into town and stopped by one of the specialist stores there, where they met a young friend who they had released. And as they stocked up on some items, they came out to what can only be described as the sound of destruction.
Oops,
So,
again.
let's pick up. As you leave the ramshackle hut, which acts as a place for those notorious people who are on the wrong side of the law, you hear it. A tremendous explosion that's real bodies. Fire starts to splurt everywhere, and you can see smoke rising up from the Watson Smith estate, which isn't that far from where you guys are at the moment.
Well, I think
The
that
town
settles the matter of
starts
what
to come
was
alive.
So we are currently where?
So you're currently, the sneak, which is where you were, it's around about down here.
And this explosion came from where?
Here.
Ah. Right next door.
Conveniently, you are right next door to it. Yes. You picked up a couple of things. So you have got a key to the gun store, which is always useful. But time is ticking, and it's now 3 o'clock in the morning, and you've only got 3 hours left before you've got to solve whatever's going on here.
Well, I think we should probably get over to whatever. Should we go over to the Watson Smith estate? I mean, they kind of kicked us out last time we were there. I'm not sure that after an explosion they're going to want to engage with us any more or less.
The other thing that you learned about was that it was suggested that the doctor was someone who'd been around a bit. And if you wanted to find out more about the strange item you picked up, they might be the best person to give you some information about that. But the town is starting to come to life now. So you can see in the distance there, it looks like there's a form of people starting to get a bucket chain going from the well in the town centre to try and douse the flames before they get too far out of control. But it is clear that this estate is going up.
No, I agree. We probably would not be welcomed at the Watson Smith estate. We were already rather suspicious last time we were there. Might not want to draw any more attention.
So we only have 3 more hours until, well, whatever happens, happens. If the girl is to be trusted, which I have no reason to say otherwise. I don't know if we have time to do anything more than a couple things before we head over. We're gonna have to go and confront the Coopermans, right?
So Pearsons,
Is who we were
Pearsons,
told
okay.
is
Sorry.
behind whatever is supposed to be happening. I don't
So
know
we have
how-
to decide if we want to go see the doctor and the gun store and then the Pearson estate, but who knows what we'll find at the doctor, and that might actually send us on another wild goose chase.
Well, I suspect if it was as simple as confronting and eliminating the Pearsons, somebody would have done it. But I don't understand how some little girl expects 2 recently revived corpses to deal with an unknown problem in 6 hours with 0 information. This whole town
Sounds
could
like the
burn,
start of some
and I
weird
wash my hands
weird
of it.
play on Shakespeare or something. I don't know.
We simply do not know what the problem is, and therefore no idea how to solve it, if there even is anything to solve. It seems, so far, aside from this strange rock we picked up and, well, our very existence, this simply looks like yet another downfall to chaos with, people vying for power.
So, I mean, this gun handle we found might have some sort of connection. So, do we go see the doctor while all this chaos is happening, or?
I think that, well, you know how I am. I prefer to have as much information as possible, and we are certainly on a deficit. So, I don't think there is much we can do for the Watson Smiths. I am no firefighter, and I don't know if we could walk on over there and guards could point and shout and have us arrested, since we did walk up and say, hey, there's something suspicious in your kitchen, we should look at it.
It's true.
Not
The
entirely
eyes just
sure
stood-
how that conversation fell apart so badly. You would think if somebody walked up to your house and said, there's a mysterious package you should probably look at. They might go look at it.
Well, the world's weird, and a disembodied head of the eye comes up behind my character and goes, "Yes, Jack, we all know that you want all the information all the time."
Shit, what is that thing?
But yeah, I think there's something to this handle. I mean, it'd be weird if the gods decided to throw this mysterious handle at us and not have any connection to anything whatsoever. That would be a weird waste of time. But maybe we'll check that out real quick.
Well,
I think that'd be the best course of action.
gods be damned. I just know it's...
Things are getting really meta around here. What the hell's going on?
Yes, well, it is something supernaturally strange, and it was guarded by werewolves, which is also supernaturally strange. So I think that's the best lead we have at the moment. So to this doctor it is.
Indeed.
Okay. Jack, do you want to move the clock forward half an hour for me then, please?
No, he doesn't.
Let's see. It looks like we are moving to 3:30 a.m.
So,
it takes 30 minutes to cross the street, it seems.
it's timey-wimey, okay? Just
Timey-wimey. Oh, this is a
Yeah.
Doctor Who episode. Ah, shit. I knew the Brit would come out eventually.
Yeah, absolutely.
We bungle things up so badly, 6 a.m. rolls around, we just hear the TARDIS noise.
Yeah.
We did our best.
Got to take you back to the start and do this again.
Yeah.
Okay, so traveling across the fairway, it's pretty easy to blend in with the milling crowd, pushing your way through a couple of patches of onlookers until you find what looks like a 2-story, fairly disheveled doctor's office. There's a sign hanging from one of the rafters outside, which basically has got the Sawbones sign on it, but it's faded and clearly it's been there for some time. Can one of you make a... Let's see. What should we start off with? Let's go with a awareness check for me, please.
What do you got in that, Jack? I have 2.
I also have 2. I will assist you.
So what's that, 3d6 then?
3d6, yeah.
5, 5, 6.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Here we go. This is what it's going to be like again.
Don't say that.
You notice the curtain which was covering the front of the door to the doctor's house twitch, and someone moves away back into the office.
Was it apparent that they saw us?
Yes.
Well, our approach is going to be known, it seems. I think Sean is going to basically have his gun ready, but he's not pulling it out. He actually has 2 6-shooters right now, so one on each ship. Actually, no, he doesn't have 2. He has a rifle and a 6-shooter. That's right.
Yeah.
But he'll just walk up to the door and knock, I guess.
Okay. A voice from inside goes, "Go away, it's closed."
Well, sir, there's some craziness happening. I'm not sure if you heard the explosion. We wanted to talk to you about a couple things in regards to what's happening in this town real quick. We found something that might be of interest to you.
We heard you're a
Interested
well-traveled
me.
man who appreciates a fine curiosity.
What you got?
a gun handle that is far too large for a normal gun, and it's made out of a strange material.
I'm gonna take it and just kind of tap it against the window where the curtain moved.
Okay.
There's a brief pause before the door is flung open, and you see this disheveled-looking man, early 40s, lanky hair that looks really greasy and unkempt, small wire-rimmed glasses over an unshaven face. He's quite short, probably only about 5 foot, and he looks at both of you and goes, "What the hell? You get yourselves in! Don't show that thing out there!"
Sorry. And he just kind of like stumbles in, like.
So inside, you can see that this is very much it's a small working office. There are supplies stacked up against the back walls. There's a couple of beds, a curtained off portion at the back. And it doesn't look like there's any patients in here at the current time, but clearly this is where any kind of administration of sick people takes place. And the doctor looks at you and goes, "Where the hell did you get that, and why the hell are you bringing it here?"
Well, we found it at the old silver mine, and we brought it here because we heard that you're probably the only one that knows anything about it.
You brought it here, jeez. So you just thought you'd bring it down here to me, did you? You didn't
Well,
think,
if you-
maybe
Yeah.
leave things alone, and I'll just bring stuff down to the dock to have a look at.
Well, you know, if we find something you don't know what it is, and you find out that somebody who does probably know what it is, you probably want to bring it to the person who knows what it is so you can find out what it is, and then we all know what it is.
Just put it away. Put it away.
Back in my satchel.
Jack, can you make me a hex check, please?
I certainly can. All right. Anything that might involve me being a smuggler in my past life?
No, not for this one.
Gotcha. Okay, then just a simple 2d6. That is a 5.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, 5's good. You can feel the almost arcane energy radiating around this gentleman, and the signature is very familiar because you saw it within the last hour on the 4 gentlemen that were stood outside the silver mine. And you know that this guy is a werewolf.
Yeah, I was already leaning that direction.
Obliviously, Sean is probably going to be standing at the window, just like not opening the shades, but at least able to like see through the crack just to see if anybody approaches.
Okay.
Well, it seems like you have some recognition of what this is, and it seems you do not appreciate us bringing it here. However, we've been, let's say, employed by a concerned party that there's some sort of weirdness happening tonight. We would like to get this item properly appraised so we might forestall any of that weirdness.
Catch that, Jack. Sorry.
Yeah,
Looks
Tal,
like-
you're kind of breaking up a little bit. We might all be breaking up a little bit here.
Oh.
The you coming through just fine?
Yeah.
I'm hearing everything. I'm hearing you, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tal,
Yes,
Tal.
I can hear you now.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Jack. Go again.
Okay. Well, it does seem that you have some understanding of this item, and also that you do not appreciate us bringing it here. However, we've been, let's say, employed by a concerned party in town that there's some weirdness happening tonight. So in the interest of... I look out the window to the panic and the flames and the people screaming. Keeping this town calm and safe. We heard that you might be able to help identify what this is. Perhaps it could be relevant to what is going on tonight.
Oh, it's relevant, all right. Who are you guys? Because you certainly don't smell like, how should I put it? Like you'd need help from a doctor, put it that way.
Yes, I think modern medicine has done all it could for us.
Well, my name's Sean O'Reilly. Nice to meet you. And he just puts out his hand because he's completely oblivious that this is a werewolf. Like,
The doctor kind of looks at it and shakes it very kind of, gently. Yeah, charmed, I'm sure.
I'm very charmed. It's good to meet a person who has knowledge of what's going on. I'm happy to hear that. And this here is my dear and close friend, Clarence.
Kind of nods at you. Well, what do you want? What do you? Jeez. What do you want from me? What? I mean, who brought you here?
Well,
'Cause I'm guessing you turned up this evening.
We found a little bird in a cage who was so happy to be freed from said cage that it suggested we come see you.
God damn it.
Now I think I do understand why you might be closed tonight, albeit 3:30 in the morning. If I judge by your complexion correctly, it might be the light of the moon tonight might be a little searing.
Well,
Sean goes, what do you mean? What about the moon? What are you talking about?
It seems the three of us here are not exactly your average person.
You're dead too?
no, I ain't dead. Wish I was some days, but no, I ain't dead, all right? And he goes to the back of the room and pulls out a bottle of what looks like some really old whiskey and pours himself a long draft and knocks it back in one. I had hoped I was just going to be able to lie low and let this thing just ignore me, but now you two turn up here with that thing. Look, I don't want to be involved in any of this, okay? I've made my business to stay out of the politics, of all that kind of stuff that's going on. I do not want to get involved.
Well, believe me, we weren't clawing out of our resting places to be involved in this of our own volition. But I'm not sure if either of us have the luxury of simply burying our heads in the dirt. Fine. I will tell you what I can, but I can't get involved. I'll tell you, you'll go. You don't understand what is going to happen if I get involved. No, we very much do not understand hardly anything going on tonight, and that is exactly why we are here. For information. So,
Fine.
if that is what you are able to provide, we will happily leave and let you return to your drink.
Fine. God damn it. Okay, so let's start off with what's going on. It's quite simple, really. Pearsons are making a power grab for this entire town. They've had enough of the other two families, and this is them taking them out and taking the town for themselves. Unfortunately, they decided to hire some, how should I put this, external muscle for this kind of situation. And some of that comes in the form of, well, people like me. They made a deal with them. They helped them secure the town by taking out all the other families, and in return, and he points at Clarence, they get that thing from the silver mine.
Oh. Well then, problem solved.
Problem solved, he says. Problem solved. Well, you know it's out of the silver mine now, don't you? And they could just take it off you if they kill you.
Yes, but they don't know I have it, or who I am, or where I am, where I'm going. If this is the nexus of all of the problems happening tonight, my friend and I can simply leave.
You can just simply leave. You can just walk out of the town. Is that right?
Well, actually, I'm not terribly certain, but...
Look, I know a few things.
We could dig a hole in the ground, bury it someplace else, and nobody would ever be the wiser.
Yeah, except for they all know what this thing is, and whilst it was in the silver mine, they couldn't get to it, but now it's out of the silver mine. As soon as they know that, they can sniff it out and they will find you. You've signed your own death warrants.
I think it's a little late for that. Do you know what this thing is? Why do they want it so badly?
It's... Okay, I was going to say this sounds stupid, but yeah, hell, look at you boys risen up from the dead. You'll believe anything I tell you. It's part of a weapon. You might have guessed that already.
Yes.
But not just any weapon. The kind of weapon that, let's just say, if someone puts it all together, they could probably take out, some kind of entity, high being, god of some sort. One shot, that's all it takes. It's a god killer.
Sounds like the Pearsons have more in mind than just running this little town.
The Pearsons have got no idea what it is. They're the pawns in all of this.
Then why do they want this thing?
They don't. Their friends, who they brought in,
I see.
said, of course we can help you take over the town. The payment will be this one little bit of thing. And the Pearsons were like, sounds good. You can have it once the town's ours. How much do you know about the ancients and entities and gods and all that kind of stuff? I mean, I don't know what you boys might have seen on the other side whilst you were there.
Well,
Do
Tal,
we remember anything of when we were dead?
I'm going to leave that up to the both of you. Do you remember anything from when you were dead?
I don't think so.
Huh.
I don't think Sean does.
Okay.
Before I answer that,
Yes, go on.
before I was dead in my profession of magical miscellany, would I have come across? What would I know of the ancient ones and gods and whatnot?
You would know that throughout history, people have always worshipped gods. You know, depending on you've been to many desecrated tomb. You've seen old paintings. You know that these kind of things cycle through. There's always, a god of death, a god of healing, a god of nature. They change names and people worship them differently, but the same kind of pantheon always seems to be there. They tend to be deities which represent the big things in the world. So the one that you saw depicted was the goddess of the moon, and that's the kind of deities you would expect to potentially come across.
Well, you may say I'm a bit more learned in the subject than your average person, but I'm sure you know it is a quite deep and robust field.
Yeah. Well, how does this suit you? There is, by all accounts, the goddess of the moon, who looks after people like me, and a goddess of the sun that looks after the day folk. Now, what do you think would happen if someone took this here weapon and decided to kill the goddess of the day?
Well, before tonight, I would have said that was an overly ambitious plan. It may very well still be. But eternal moonlit night certainly would have an appeal to people such as yourself, I would imagine.
It is what some of the more devout people in my pack are always working towards. That eternal night. It's not just the werewolves that enjoy it, but anything thrives in the darkness. For the werewolves, they're fulfilling the duties of their goddess. For mortals, it'll be the end of everything. The apocalypse. And you boys have just stumbled into it.
Well, it seems if we did not stumble into it, it would have happened regardless.
Well, can't really argue with that. There were some folk here who were trying to do stuff, but yeah, I guess now that you've got it. Well, old Lady Koopman, she certainly had a way with the old magic. I know that she would have definitely tried to do something, but now it looks like it's you boys.
Yes, unfortunately, the Coopermans, last we saw them, were much closer to our state than yours.
They got him?
It seems so. I don't know enough about them individually to confirm their identity, but they looked the part.
Well,
It seems we are the only ones left who have any means to do anything about this.
he eyes you up and says, well, maybe not quite. And he goes to the back of the room and pulls back the curtain. And lying in one of the cots is an old man. He's got a long, scraggly beard, weathered face, and you can see that he has been cut about with deep claw marks gashed across his chest. He's been bandaged up to the best of the ability, but you could see that he has been severely attacked recently. The doctor looks at you and says, well, why don't you let me introduce you to a friend of mine. This here is Pitt Stevens, local hunter. And the closest thing we've had to a exterminator, if you like, of my fellows that you'll find in this town. As you can see, he is not doing too great at the moment, but he could potentially be an ally to you.
Sean looks over at the prone body and goes, well, I don't know how much of an ally he can be if he can't even get out of bed.
Well, I've been trying to fix him up. I was just about to head over to the apothecary and pick up a couple of tinctures that I need, which should get him back on his feet. But then all this chaos started. Look, I don't know how many of them are out there, but Pitt is devious, crafty, and it'd be a good person to have you back within the next couple of hours at least.
To what end?
So what, Andy? Well, you got two choices. You either try and run and hide and keep this thing from them. Don't know how lucky you're going to be with that. Or you take the fight to them. Head up there, take them down. Problem solved. But like I said, my friends can sniff this thing out. And the moment they know it's no longer up there in that mine, they'll be
Well,
looking
how
for
would
you
they,
guys.
if they can't even answer the mine, how would they know that it's gone?
Well, I would say that when one of the Pearsons goes up there to retrieve it for them, and it's no longer there, my guess is that they will notice. And just out of curiosity, you don't seem like the type of gentleman that don't leave a few bodies in your wake.
Well,
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Look,
So-
I can't tell you what to do. All I'll say to you is, look, you can run and hide and try and wait this thing out, or you can maybe get Pitt back on his feet and see if you can take him out yourselves. Hunt or be hunted. Not much of a choice, is it?
So what we're looking at now as an option is to go from here to the apothecary, then from the apothecary back here, then back to the gun store, and then the Pearson state.
That could
or
work.
Wherever these wolves are.
That would be according to my calculations, that'd be 2 more hours off of our time scale. That's cutting it awful close.
Well, like I said, the other option is to bunker down, hide somewhere, and hope they don't. Or you could try leaving the village.
To make it look like the Pearsons are reneging on their deal.
Hmm. Now that is an interesting idea. Get them to
Perhaps-
fight each other kind of thing.
Yes. Perhaps they removed this artifact prematurely and... Oops. It's gone. Guess we have nothing to pay you with.
Any idea where the other part of this thing is?
Honestly, didn't even know that part was here. There are legends, but there are 3 other parts that are, well, they could be anywhere. And I mean anywhere. You hear from Pit, you hear a low guttural kind of deep groan from his stomach as he tosses and turns a little bit in his cot.
Sean's gonna just look over at Clarence. Well, are we doing that plan, or should we try to save some time?
Well, it has been a long night. Feels a lot longer than it has been. I believe, last we heard, the apothecary was at league with the Pearsons.
Yeah, but you know, the whole thing about being in a situation like we're in now is that, I mean, I personally don't know much about apothecarian, but I would hope, Clarence, maybe you do, and if the doctor gives us like a list of things to get, we don't need to ask for permission.
Yes, that was my thoughts, assuming you know what you need.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can write you down a list of stuff you can pick up. It's only a couple of things, and we'll get it all sorted.
Why is it that you are uninvolved in this scheme?
I am, honestly, turn my back on the pack. Didn't like what they were doing, didn't like who they were. Thought maybe if I came out here to middle of nowhere, I could try and recapture some of that life I'd lost. And then they come sniffing back around. Choose your friends, but not your family, right?
I suppose.
I'm a doctor. I heal people. You know how bad that is when you wake up the next morning, shoot someone's leg off? I don't want this. So here I am, middle of nowhere, trying to atone for what's gone before. But don't get me wrong, if they come sniffing around, I am just gonna let them take you.
Appreciate the honesty. So you don't know whether they do or not have these 3 other pieces?
Unfortunately, I don't. I mean, honestly, I think I might have heard something on the grapevine, as it were. If anyone had been close to completely forging the pieces together, but I didn't even know this piece was here. Heck, I didn't even know if it's a real thing.
Well, I suppose we can't just assume that this... I suppose we don't want to give them the chance. Okay, well... Apothecary, back here. Seems you would like to go to the gun store. And then, assuming it doesn't take long for our new friend here on death's door to step back from that threshold, we could try to bring this to a close in 2 hours or so. Maybe plant some rumors on the way. That sounds like the best, most straightforward option we've had at all tonight.
All right, well, I guess we should just get moving then. No time to waste. You got the list for us, Doctor, and we'll just head on out and come back when we can.
He hands you over the hastily scribbled in Doctor's handwriting list. Look, just get in, get out, get back, because I don't know how much longer he's got. And you might have noticed that those wounds are, well, they're not from any folk you'd normally find around here. He needs a cure, otherwise he's going to, well, he's going to be a problem.
Ah. Well, then I suppose we should get moving.
Well, I wish you luck. Look, I won't tell them that you were here, okay?
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Just do what you can, yeah? Do what I can. Make a difference.
Well, I suppose that is our job. I suppose we'll be back with your groceries shortly.
And with that, he ushers you out the door, looking around to make sure no one's really watching. And you find yourselves back out on the street again.
As they're walking towards the apothecary, like 5 minutes in, Sean suddenly goes, "That guy a werewolf?"
Yes. Yes, I do believe so.
Oh. All right.
Amazing. So you're going to make your way up to the apothecary then?
Yes.
Apothecary.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Again, there's so much going on that no one's really notices you're trekking through. The apothecary itself is quite a beautiful property. Strangely, it's got stained glass windows, and as you approach it, you can see that there's like a clay bake oven out the back. Very clean. The property looks like it's been well maintained, and a fresh lick of paint seems to cover the outside. Nobody else seems to be paying much attention to it, as everyone's concentrating.
Yeah, is the town still all a bustle?
Yeah.
Fire?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Do we see any moon goddess iconography anywhere on this house?
Make an awareness check for me.
Right. /R2. 5s.
Okay, awesome. Looking around, there's nothing that you can see which specifically seems to relate to a moon goddess or any kind of deity.
Do we see any movement in the apothecary?
So with that roll, you can see that the light is on, and there is somebody bustling around inside. So it looks as if the store is actually open.
If not open for business, then at least open to whatever mischief is happening tonight. Honestly, Sean, I must confess something to you, that in my previous life I may not have been the most scrupulous of fellow. So, knowing what...
Sean's mouth goes agape, his eyes goes wide and goes, no.
Yes. Well, knowing what we are facing tonight and the probably credible rumor that this person is involved, it may be easiest just to kill them and take what we need.
I mean, so Clarence, I mean, I was a soldier in my past life. At this point, I think we're kind of in like a warfare situation behind enemy lines. I'm not really one in this particular junction to be very critical on our next moves and how we're engaging with this, my friend. I'm pretty much a guns blazing kind of guy at this point. So whatever you think is best. I mean, if you want to take this a little bit more sneaky like, that's fine. But as far as I'm concerned, we are completely surrounded by enemies with a couple of allies, kind of, sort of. I mean, that guy looked like, and pretty much just said outright that he would backstab us at the slightest inconvenience. So, you know, I don't want to go to hell. Personally, not really my idea of a good eternity. I want this done. So whatever you think is best. Although it does come to be a philosophical question, if we're killing a bunch of people, are we going to go to hell anyway? Like, how does that work exactly?
It's an excellent question.
I think there are a number of very interesting tomes that, well, actually, you probably wouldn't find them very interesting. No, I think with everybody running and screaming and the crackling of that large bonfire over there, we can get away with a few gunshots.
All right. Well, should I just kick down the door then and see what happens, or should we at least attempt at something a little bit less noisy?
We could try to enter more quietly. I will... Throughout the night, you have remarked at how it's been tedious and inconvenient for me to focus so intently on gathering information. Well, I've gathered all the information that I think we need for the moment. I'm happy to throw the ball back to your side of the court, as it were.
All right. And the gun rifle comes off his back. And he goes up to the door, leans against the side of it, and waits.
Before he kicks in the door, is there a back entrance, a side window?
You can, doing a circle of the apothecary, you can't see. There are definitely windows, but you can't see like a rear entrance to the building itself. Okay. And can you move the clock on to another half?
Yes, of course.
Next destination.
4 a.m. If he's gonna go in through the front door, I'm gonna move around to the side by a window and get ready to just shatter that and...
Yeah.
Flanking position.
Cool.
Actually, he's not going to pull out his rifle. He's going to have his nice revolver out.
Okay.
And he's going to wait for a minute or two for Clarence to get in position before he back kicks. He doesn't front kick. He does the back kick into the door. And, yeah.
Okay. The door splinters under your kick.
And he drives himself in and immediately points his gun. And what do I see?
Okay. So, what you see a store crammed full of weird and wonderful plants and spices and jars with strange floating things in them. And then behind the counter, there is a mature lady standing there, very well dressed, very tailored suit, She has grey, swept back hair into a long ponytail. And as you burst through, she looks up at you. Ah, you finally made it then. I was wondering when you were going to pop along and see me.
Sean has his gun trained on her, narrowing his eyes a little bit. But
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Come on in.
He doesn't go any. He basically goes into the door and just slides and slides to the right to like slide against the wall to keep his back protected, but he doesn't go any closer to her.
Okay.
And he says, ma'am, we're here to do some shopping. Please put your hands on the counter, lickety split. Clarence, I don't know how dramatic you wanted your entrance to be, but I mean, I don't want to take it away from you if you wanted to go through that window right quick.
It's a sigh.
She places her hand on the table and she says, "Oh well, if you come to shop, that's amazing. I've got all sorts of things you can. Well, I could maybe even sell you something you didn't even realize I had."
Yeah, well, I don't know a daffodil from a daisy or a dandelion. So, Clarence.
Instead of bursting through the window all dramatically, it seems this has already gone askew. I will walk back around to the door and simply walk in.
Okay.
Clarence, you gave up your dramatic entrance, buddy. You should. I mean, I left it open to you.
So you're Clarence. Okay. Well, you boys have certainly been making yourself busy tonight, haven't you? Gotta say, got a lot done in a very short space of time.
I thought the plan was you were just going to shoot her.
Well, I mean, I just did talk to you about like the whole philosophical issue of shooting people and going to hell anyway. And I don't know who this is, honestly. It could be like, yeah, she's acting kind of weird. But listen, if she gets a little growly, yeah, I'm gonna fire immediately. But until she does something, I ain't doing shit.
You let's not be hasty here, gentlemen. I mean, I'm a businesswoman, and I can see that you're well. You're out of your depth, aren't you? But here's the good thing. I can help you. You don't really want to be running around and causing all kinds of trouble, do you? How about?
I mean, it's been fun up to this point, I think. A little bit.
But how about I just, well, send you both back? No harm, no foul? And she kind of clicks her fingers, and Clarence, you can see that her hand engulfs in kind of like the hex energy that you use yourself. And she says, "I know a thing or two about spells. I could just put you both back to sleep."
As soon as the spell starts being cast, the hammer cocks, and Sean goes. And Sean, like, he just cocks the hammer back, and he goes, "I thought I said to keep your hands on the table."
Nope. You're right. Puts her hand back down. But I could just put you guys back to sleep. Wouldn't know anything about it. It'd be like none of this ever happened.
You've been given a new lease on life, or the closest thing to it. Why would we want to go back to our dirt naps?
Because I know the type of spell that's brought you both back, and you ain't gonna survive this night. And trust me, you do not want to be the ones that fail with that. And she kind of circles her fingers, that particular curse on you. I can break it. Real simple for me to do.
You'll forgive me if I don't find you the most trustworthy of sources.
Well, that's slightly mean, but I take what you're saying. What have I got to lose? I mean, you go back into the earth, and my friends and I, we get what we want. Everyone's happy.
Again, I'm not like educated in any way, shape, or form, but like in my brain, again, this philosophical, ethical question comes up: if like we take your deal and we let the world end, I don't think whatever happens in the afterlife is really keen on somebody saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna let the world end," and I didn't want to do nothing about it.
World
I'm-
end? What are you talking about, world end? The world's not gonna end. Oh, what have they been filling your heads? World end, indeed.
Sean just looks over at Clarence and goes, "Gods and killing gods, and I don't know. I was too worried about the whiskey to really be paying much attention."
What? What are you talking about?
Does she
This
look
is just-
genuinely confused?
Make an awareness check for me, please.
Can I give him an extra die on that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, 36. Let's see those 3 ones.
No, you go.
Fine, there you go.
5. She looks genuinely confused. As if this is the first time she's hearing this information.
Madam, I think either you are woefully poorly informed.
Or we are.
I think we have a little bit more evidence to support what we've been told. What is going on tonight, madam, is more than simply the shuffling of power in a small, dusty town. There are bigger things at play here, and it seems you are educated enough to know of hexes and curses and magics. I wonder
I've done
if
my
you are
studying.
also aware of the werewolves and the god-killing weapons and the deals that have been made in the background.
Of course I know about the werewolves. I mean, some extra hard muscle there. Dumb animals that just using.
Hey, listen.
In character, that was. In character.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, inspector thing again.
We just use them. I mean,
Yes, I have heard rumors about that. Using these new business partners of yours. Seems the Pearsons are keen to, well, as you said, they are just animals. I've heard that they plan on renegotiating the contract once everything is settled. So I think there will
They
be
can
more
certainly
turbulence.
they can try.
Specs.
But trust me. Negotiate the contracts. Don't think so. They could try, but trust me. We can take them. But the question is, what do you boys want this evening?
So Sean is very much aiming your weapon at this person, right?
Correct.
Okay. Can I use Hex to just drop the hammer?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
I am. I think that would
That's
be-
not going to make Sean think that he did something horribly wrong.
Clarence does not care.
Yeah. No. Hey, it's all there. I mean, I have no problems with that.
She said us and not them. I'm shooting.
No, you're making
Go
me
for it.
shoot.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Amazing. Yeah. No. I think that is absolutely fine. Please, let's have the dice roll.
All right. This is where everything gets fucked up. 6.
No.
Awesome. Okay.
Uh,
Oh, lucky. The hammer clicks. The aim is true. And how much damage does your gun do?
3.
3. And you see the bullet just slam into her shoulder, knocking her back against the wall. Just literally throwing her across part of the room, crashing into one of the displays, and all the different herbs and some of the spices just tumbling around behind her. So you can... you can choose, Clarence. Do you want to deal double damage, because we rolled a 6? Oh, no, we only rolled 1 6. No.
Yep.
No special effects this time. Sorry. But she's taken a slug right to her shoulder, and it's knocked her off her feet. 3 damage. Awesome.
Was that with... Did you have silver bullets in there, or just regular bullets? In case it...
well,
Good
she's not a
question.
werewolf, so I don't think it's gonna affect her differently.
We don't know
No,
she's
she's
not a
not,
werewolf,
so-
and she said us.
No, you don't know
and
that.
not them.
Mhm. Yep. I mean, she certainly seems to be bleeding from the shot been taken. What I will say is, Sean, I would say that you were not expecting this to happen.
No.
So you're going to have a -1 penalty next action, depending on what you want to do.
Totally admit. Can I roll an awareness check to see if I notice what happened? Like a little dark flicker across the hammer or something?
No, I will absolutely. I'll let you do that as a before. So we'll say that happens before
6.
What's she doing to me? Okay. So yes, I will say that you watch and actually see this tendril of smoky energy click the hammer down. So you do not get a penalty on your next action.
Okay.
Good work.
Um.
What would you like to do? And she's blasted across into the glass everywhere. The pungent smell of spices and something that smells dead, kind of reaching your undead nostrils.
Yeah. What would he do? I mean, it's over. I think. Like, there's no more talking. But like, Sean's in a predicament where he's like, he needs to trust Clarence. So maybe Clarence noticed something that Sean didn't. So, I think Sean is just going to take Clarence's action as like maybe she was doing magic and he didn't see it or something, because he doesn't know shit about magic.
No, absolutely.
And I'm gonna say that, so she falls behind the counter, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say that Sean doesn't have a clear shot anymore. So he's gonna run to the counter, jump on top of it, point the gun down, and just keep firing.
Okay, right. Interesting. Okay, so I think we're going to need an agility check.
Okay.
Just to make sure you can jump the
A 4.
counter. A 4. Okay, so let's see. Stalemate. Okay. So I'm going to say that you do manage to jump onto the counter, but that is going to be your action for the turn. So you're able to train the gun onto her, but we'll then switch back to Clarence and let Clarence make the next move.
Gotcha. He's gonna shoot my gun again. That's gonna be our thing. I move, he fires through me.
So she survived that shot.
Yes, she is on the floor groaning, but she is still alive.
Okay. In this setting, Tal, do you need to wiggle your
yes.
fingers about to make magic happen? Would cupping
Wiggle
her
waggles.
hands, prevent her from casting?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. There are definitely gestures which come around with using either Hex or Lumen. So, yes.
Okay. So I have a set of handcuffs.
Nice.
Of course, if she's a werewolf, she might just be able to snap those. I don't know. Yeah. You tell me if I can do this, but I would like to... I mean, she just got shot in the shoulder hard enough to throw her backwards. I'm surprised she's not dead, which makes me think she's more than just your average person. But I would like to attempt to move up behind her quickly and just support her hands behind her back. Cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's say... Should we call that? I think we will say that the... I'd say that's probably going to be agility, I think, to be able to get to her and kind of get the handcuffs on while she's maybe struggling a little. Roll me an agility.
Hey. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll see how it goes, I guess. There's no way to buff this roll at all.
Nope.
I don't think so. No,
a straight roll.
Just have to do it.
Come on, I need some luck.
5.
This is going to be bad later.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, easily done. She's still stunned from you from the shot, so in a dazed state, you're very easily able to get round her, snap the handcuffs on behind her, and she's now handcuffed and on the floor. Good stuff. And that could be a really good time for us to take a quick break, I think. Now that you seem to have captured her at the current time. Maybe. So we're going to take a quick 15-minute break just to refresh ourselves and make sure we're ready. So do come back and join us again for the second part of episode 3 of Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a little bit.
Yep. Stick around, folks. It's going to get wild tonight.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Undead Cowboys versus Werewolves. Just before the break, our 2 intrepid heroes managed to take down the owner of the apothecary as she now lies on the floor with a bullet hole in her shoulder and her hands handcuffed behind her back. So, Dawn, Clarence, what would you like to do?
Well, madam, you seem to have been mistaken as to the strength of your bargaining position.
Kind of looks up at you and says, "This is amazing." Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna.
Sean's just standing over with the gun trained on her. He's letting Clarence take over from here.
Yep.
I'm gonna fish out a silver coin, a purse,
Okay.
and just press it against her. See if it does anything.
Nothing happens.
Okay. Cool. Would I know if the silver coin is pure enough silver for that to actually work?
Yes,
Okay.
you would. Kind of looks at you and is just like, "Oh, you thought I was one of them. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. No, just a humble mixer of remedies, potions, and the odd bit of spellcast."
Well, I wasn't certain you were the furry and barky variety. But you did seem to indicate that you were associated with them, at least much more closely than the Pearsons or anyone else here.
Let's just say I made myself a useful point of contact for two parties. They both had needs, and I merely facilitated a meeting. Could get what they want.
Ah, yes, the ever-useful facilitator. Well, perhaps you could facilitate for us, then, a means to end the chaos this night.
Oh, what's in it for me?
Life.
I am partial to that. Can't say I like the look of the life that you gentlemen have at the moment. Yeah, I could certainly help. What would you like from me?
Is where things get tricky. It does seem you are genuinely uninformed about the higher machinations of the wolves this evening.
I mean, I haven't veiled myself of their reasons. It's merely been a business transaction, but I could certainly help you, depending on what your aims are. I don't know, maybe help you get into the Pearson mansion, or, like I said, I could put you back in the ground if you wanted me to.
With all the racket that's going on, and with her completely shackled, Sean's going to go back to the door and just make sure they're not getting approached.
Okay. Yep. Everybody seems to still be focused on the fire that's going on outside. Excuse me. Sorry.
And I'm gonna take out a piece of cloth I have and really bundle it around her hand.
Okay.
Her wrist might be bound, but that's not gonna stop her wiggling her fingers. So I'm gonna make sure she's nice and balled up tight back there.
Yep. No, absolutely. That's very professionally done. If I didn't know better, I'd say you've done that kind of thing before.
Or I've had it done to me.
Of course. What were you before this happened? Very curious.
Perhaps previously we were not all that dissimilar. And perhaps we may both survive this night and continue to be not so dissimilar.
Fascinating. You really are fascinating. I wonder how much you actually remember of it. Well, I mean, here we are. I've got nothing really left to bargain with. I don't know, I can get you into the Pearson house if you want me to, or...
How about you tell me about this deal you helped facilitate?
She kind of stretches her shoulders a little bit, and you don't mind if I stand up, do you?
Would that really be all that more comfortable?
For me it would, yes. Plus, I am bleeding out every...
How about you simply speak, and we'll see where this new relationship takes us.
Of course, she coughs a little bit. Yeah, you have the upper hand, and she says, well, it was a simple meeting. I had contacts within the, shall we say, the werewolf community. Pearsons were looking for...
You cut out at the
They both
important
wanted
bit.
some...
What were
Oh,
the Pearsons
sorry.
looking for?
They were looking for some extra muscle to take over the town. that couldn't necessarily be connected to them. Simple trade of services.
Yes, and I'm fairly certain you know very well we already know this information.
Of course.
And you don't have anything more useful to add.
Oh, you want something more useful?
It may be in your best interest to make yourself useful.
Well. And at that moment, she starts to cough again and kind of puts her hand. Oh, can't put. But she kind of winces and suddenly, boom, and she falls back onto the ground.
She just collapses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take out my knife and cut her throat.
How's that
Clarence
talk
doesn't
going over
fuck
there,
around.
buddy? How's
I mean,
Sure at.
unless Sean wants to stop me, because I am very.
Sean's paying attention to the door. He's halfway across the building. He
That's
doesn't
true.
see shit.
Yeah. Because I
You
am
guys
kind
are
of running
behind the
away with
counter.
this, so don't let me run away with it if you don't want me to run away with it.
No, I said I went back to the door, dude. Sean doesn't even see this happen.
She's doing some astral projection nonsense or something. I'm not having it. I told her to make herself useful, and she decided to take a nap. So no, I'm done playing, ma'am.
Is she alright?
I mean, she can't stop you. As she slit her throat, there's a gurgling sound, and her eyes flash open for a moment, and she looks at you and says, "Huh, I didn't expect that." And then she passes dead at your feet, the blood pooling and mixing with some of the reagents that were spilled onto the floor previously.
I'm gonna give it a minute and just make sure.
Just keep slicing.
No, I'm not gonna mutilate her. Just make sure she stays down.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Maybe right through her pockets. See if there's anything interesting
Yeah.
on it.
There's a couple of things on her. You notice that there is what looks like a stitched up sack with a fuse lit into it, or coming out the top of it. But it's it's almost like it's been made into a ball. It's like a sack kind of cloth, but there's a fuse sticking out the top of it.
Cool, a grenade of some variety.
And then the only other thing on her is what looks like a small vial of grease.
Well, I'll pocket those. If I pick up this rag and put it in this ball with a fuse and put it to my nose, can I smell any particular ingredient that might lead me down what it actually does?
It's got a kind of acrid smell to it, but nothing. It certainly doesn't smell of explode as in terms of dynamite or any of the other things you might have handled.
Okay. Sean, catch.
That.
Sean, can you make an agility check for me?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It requires a fuse to go off. The fuse is not.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I figured. That's what I fucking figured. 2 and a 3.
Oh, a 2 and a 3. Okay, excellent. So a 3. So that's a fail. As you go to try and catch the satchel, it slips through your fingers, and there's a moment where time almost seems to stand still as you watch this pouch drop to the floor. And nothing happens.
Fuck you, Tal.
You almost had us there, Tal.
He quickly like reaches down and
What's gonna go
gathers it
wrong?
up. What the hell is this thing?
I couldn't resist.
Well, truth be told, I'm not all that certain, but it has some place to light a fuse, so it's probably more your variety than mine.
Do I recognize this thing at all?
Make an awareness check for me.
Can I use my soldier background at all?
Yes, you can.
631. What a spread.
You've used this kind of thing before. It's basically like the best way to describe it is like a smoke grenade.
Okay. Well, we
So
can use it to hide ourselves, and it's a smoke grenade, so we can like use it to be covert, but it's not gonna cause much damage.
But it may have its uses. Well now, it seems that the poor proprietress here slipped and had an accident. I think we'll need to do shopping ourselves.
Oh, wasn't she sitting?
Yes, it seems she had a bit of a fainting spell and fell over, quite dramatically. I get up and just start rummaging through the shop, going down the shop.
Yeah,
Sean is
okay,
just like
yeah,
looking
yeah,
back
yeah.
between like over there and back to the door, and he's just like, he doesn't want to leave where he is just in case something goes wrong. But he's like, all right,
Okay. Make an awareness check for me as you search through the content.
Does she not have these things properly labeled? That's only a 4.
Okay.
I would think that your background would give you another dice on that, but
Okay. So 4 is a success, but you will be able to find the items that you're looking. However, what's a good consequence? The consequence is that you're starting to now pull attention to where you go.
What?
to where we
So,
are.
so
Okay.
yeah, so the fact that something has occurred
Oh yeah.
in the property.
Is this another tick on our foreshadowing?
It will be, yes.
Okay. Whenever somebody decides to come and check up on their fixer. Okay. Anything else of interest in here? Anything I could use? Anything that
The
might...
only other thing you find is at the back there is what looks like a wooden panel, but as you're searching around, you click, and you see that it comes away slightly from the wall.
Like it opens something?
Yeah, so it's almost like this panel was flush against the wall, but as you've been searching around, you hear a click, and it just comes away from the wall very slightly.
Okay. So like I could get a knife in there and wedge it out?
Yeah.
Alright. I'll do that.
Okay. As you do that, I would like you to both make agility checks for me.
Cool. I'm not a rogue. I don't know to check for traps. I'm a warlock.
1 and a 2.
Oh, you both fail. Oh dear. As you start to wedge your knife in, there's a hum of energy, maybe, coming from where this panel is. And before you can do anything, you hear the snapping and shattering of this panel as it explodes outwards, catching both of you within the blast radius, pushing you back up against the front door and you're both going to take.
Well, the front door's not there, so I'm guessing I'm flying out of this
yes,
place.
you are. Yeah. So you both take 2 damage. And now, as you find yourselves on the outside, the fire, which was caused by that, starts to engulf the building.
Man, sure are a lot of fires tonight. What a coincidence.
Sean is on his back in the street, staring up at the sky, not knowing what the fuck just happened.
But you did manage to get the ingredients you needed for.
Well,
to
now,
take
my
back to
soldier
the
friend,
doctor.
I don't think it's quite time for our rest once again. I think we have an appointment with our physician.
Wait, isn't Clarence in the blown up building currently?
I'm hobbling out.
No,
to
he
meet
got.
ya.
Yeah. Comes out with just little fires, just patting them down. Yeah, okay.
I mean, we're already dead.
Sean stares up at the sky and goes, "What the fuck was that?"
It seems the owner of the shop had a bit more protection. Well, I do wonder what was back there, but I'm sure whatever it was destroyed now.
Just in the future, I don't know how this whole thing works, but like you're a wispy thing. I'm not. I'm solid. So like that hurt.
Well, my apologies. Next time I will give you more of a warning when a hidden trap explodes.
I would appreciate that immensely. And Sean gets up to his feet. I guess we're headed back to the doctors.
Yeah. So you can see the now the fact there's a second fire started on almost on the opposite side of town. People are starting to run to the wells to try and douse that fire as well. So
maybe we won't get foreshadowing because they don't know that she got killed before this thing went up in flames.
You know,
they don't know we were involved in that shit.
Nope. Very true.
So
So
a spark came from the Watson Smith estate and just caught the apothecary.
Nothing covers your tracks like a little bit of arson.
Yeah, even accidental arson apparently.
So you heading back to the doctors? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's move the clock on,
Yeah.
please.
4:30 a.m.
So, making your way back to the doctor. Things are starting to die down a little bit at the Smith estate. You can see that the bucket chain is still in operation, but the fire seems to be under control. And people are starting to try and probe through the remains of the estate. Any survivors or anything. It doesn't look.
Ooh,
Skirting around that,
I have an idea.
get back.
Actually, sorry
yeah.
to cut you off.
No, go for it.
At some point, we picked one of the Pearson like armbands, right?
Yes, you did.
I want to toss that just outside the fire of the area as we leave.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm gonna drop that behind me as we continue. Sorry, Tal, go on.
Well, no, that's great. Making your way back to the doctors, you can see that everything still seems quiet there. And what would you like to do?
I'm guessing we're just going in and giving the doctor the ingredients.
Yeah, just go up and give a knock.
So, as you knock, you can hear from the inside what would be a scuffle of some sort going on. And there's nobody comes to the to answer it.
Well, either
Sean,
the doctor and his patients are dancing, or there seems to be some sort of scuffle.
Not going to be a door left in this town. Slams himself through another door.
What you see is the doctor wrestling with his patient Pitt, who's in his bed. The wounds on his chest are bleeding profusely, and the doctor's trying to hold him down. As you enter, he sees you. Quick, get over here. We need to hold him down. Hold him down.
I think neither of us are brawn based, so this is going to go terribly wrong. Can we both go over and try to wrestle him down, and one of us roll 2, I guess? Because I think we're both at 1 brawn.
Yeah.
I am happy with that. A joint effort. Go for it.
Go ahead there, Jack.
Oh, you want me to? All right.
Yeah, but because then I can blame you for it.
Sure. That's a 4.
A 4, that's good. Yeah, that's fine.
4's good. Okay. So that's a success, but you can hold him down. However, in the battle to keep him kind of held down, one of you does take a solid punch to the face. So one of you is going to take an extra point.
I'll take it. Oh, okay. I'll take it. It's me. Okay. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Jack. Right. It's me. I'm Jack. All right. I took the damage.
You see the doctor quickly trying to mix together some of the ingredients, rushes back over, puts a poultice on the wounds on Pitt's chest, and then forces this green, foul-smelling medicine down his... And instantly, there's a change in his condition. Breathing slows. You can see the wounds on his chest starting to knit back together. And colour returning to this older gentleman as he starts to breathe more easily, although a little bit shallow in his cough.
As soon as it seems safe, it's at that point Sean's head rises back up. You can see that his jaw is like completely out of place. Go, what is that shit?
The doctor kind of reaches up and goes, hold still. Cracks it back into place for you. Oh, damn! That
Sean reaches up and like massages his fucking jawline. It's like, ah.
Whew. Well, that was a close run thing. You got back just in time. Oh, he's gonna need a little bit of sleep, but he's gonna be okay. Gonna be okay, and I'll get him up and about so he can help. And well, let's just say that he owes you his. You see his eyes. You see his eyes flicker open and looks at you, and there's this kind of recognition. He nods very briefly for going back into a slumber.
Well, how long is it going to take for him to be getting on his feet?
Difficult to say, but well, hoping the next sort of like 30 minutes, an hour. It's quick acting stuff, and well, normally it's poisonous to most people. Saved his life. We'll have to see if he comes out the other side. Yeah, so I've heard, especially this evening. You didn't have any trouble getting the ingredients?
John just stares at Clarence.
Not so much trouble. Not us.
I do not want to know.
Well, let's just say you may need to be procuring your ingredients elsewhere for the time being.
Right. Okay, great. Okay. Well, nobody's been here since you've been gone, so I guess that's something. Look, I'll get Pitt up and as soon as he's fitting up, I'll get him to come and find you guys. But here, this might help. And you can see he from Pitt's belt, he pulls very gingerly, appears to be a long silver knife.
What's your agility? I'm guessing that would be agility based, right?
It would probably be a melee. It would be used if you want to throw agility. If you're using it in melee, then it
Be brawn. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. Well, neither of us are gonna be good at that.
But it could
I
be
mean,
fun.
I already have. I've already gotten a weapon upgrade there, Jack. So if you want a weapon upgrade,
Yeah, I'll take that. I might actually be able to use that. And get creative with it.
I can't wait.
What just happened here? Okay. Silver knife. Cool. Well, I suppose I can return this when he comes to meet us, but it could prove useful.
Yeah, I mean, the way things are going, yeah, it doesn't hurt to have a bit of extra protection on.
Yes. Do you or he happen to know where this wolf tribe is staying?
They're all, as far as I'm aware, they're all bunkered down at the Pearsons.
Closer bedfellows
But
than I expected.
Let me tell you, that estate has got some guards roaming out the front of it. So if you need to get in there, easy.
well, we got ourselves a way into the local gun store, which might give us some of the artillery that we need. Other
Makes
than
sense.
that,
Tool yourselves up.
yep. Other than that, I guess if our friend here is up and at him soon enough, I'll just send him over to the gun store to meet us, and we'll go from there.
Will do. He's a tough one.
One more favor you could do us this evening. Could any of your
Well-
old friends pay you a visit? Of course,
Yeah.
we appreciate your hospitality and not letting them know we were here, but you may pass on that a certain Pearson was seen skulking around the apothecary before it mysteriously burnt down.
I can do that. That's fine. I mean,
If they happen to stop
it's
by.
going to help. Oh, they'll stop by, all right.
Well, it seems that the old proprietress there was the one who facilitated the meeting and their arrangement.
Does not surprise me. She was an absolute bitch. That
Well, it seems, and I don't have any real details on the matter, you understand, but I did notice there was a Pearson skulking about the place, and then it suddenly exploded.
Oh, exploded. Right.
It seems
Yep,
to be
okay.
their MO.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. I can tell them that. Of course I can. Look, don't take this the wrong way, but you gotta go. You gotta go. And he kind of bustles behind his desk and pulls out what looks like a small salve. Says, "Look, I normally save this for myself, but I think tonight you boys might need." Hands you it, and it's it basically will give you some heat. So there's enough in there for 2 uses, and each use will restore 3 points.
Well
Hey,
done.
we have a healing potion.
just go. Just go. Hide, kill him, whatever you decide to do. Just
Well, I'll tip my hat. Doctor, thank you for your hospitality. And mosey on out.
pleasure.
Sean will reach out his hand for another handshake and go.
Yeah, and then shake it back. Yeah, uncomfortable, but yeah.
Quick question.
Mm.
I was gonna make a World of Darkness joke, but never mind. I leave.
So, where would
You
like
guys,
to
you
go?
guys prefer the term guru, right?
I mean, doctor's
Isn't that a
fine.
politically correct term?
Just call me doctor.
Yeah.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, I try and get a little bit of sleep tonight.
Yes, sir. And he'll tip his hat and walk over to the gun store with Clarence, I guess.
Okay. The gun store. Right.
Or shopping.
Jack, do you want to move on the time for me, please?
Yes, let's do so. 5 a.m., 1 hour remaining.
Okay. So, making your way to the gun store. There are lots of people around, milling about, generally looking a little bit confused about what's been going on. There's little gossipy talking about potentially someone setting fire to the entire town. And where were the heads of the houses? What were they doing? A real kind of sense of, should we be worried about this? But nobody passes you and gives you a second look as you make your way to the gun shop. Gun shop is small, squat building. Seems to be reinforced with very heavy stone walls, which is really unusual. And you notice that the front door is locked with a heavy padlock and no windows on any of the sides of the shop.
Wow, it's almost like we needed that key to get in.
The key does indeed work.
No, I don't know who had it, but Sean's gonna go up with the key, unlock the door, unlock the padlock, but like slowly and sneakily because he doesn't know if somebody's on the other side.
Yeah.
Slow, like as he starts opening doors. Is there any light coming from inside?
No, it's completely dark.
Okay. He's gonna slowly open the door and go in.
Okay.
I'll
So
follow
entering
him,
the store itself,
quietly close the door.
it's clean, it's tidy, it's exactly how you'd expect it. There are a number of different weapons lined up on racks and shelves. There are a few things of interest which you might decide you want to take with. The things that stand out are, in one of the crates, there are 4 grenades. There is also a pump-action shotgun. And then the thing that grabs your attention more than anything is, it looks to be a strange contraption. it's almost as if someone's been working on some kind of experiment where you can see there are 4 gun barrels which seem to have been not necessarily fused together, but mounted in a way that you could feed in ammunition and basically cause a ton of damage. So, for want of a better word, it would be like a minigun.
Yeah, what do they call the original version of that?
I can't remember what they were called.
It's like a Pearson gun or something like that. Let me look it up real quick. First, fire. Oh no, it was Gatling. Okay.
Okay, Gatling. Yeah.
Ye olde Gatling.
Or the Puckle gun is what I was thinking of. But that was back in the 1700s. Was the Puckle?
But yeah, so a Gatling gun.
Yeah, Gatling came out in 1862, and he was used in the Civil War.
Amazing. Plenty of ammunition as well, and those. I mean, there's pistols and other things, but those are the things that stand out. So,
how many grenades? You said 3?
4 grenades,
4.
pump action shotgun, and then this Gatling.
I mean, the only thing about the Gatling gun is that thing is on wheels. Don't know how well we're going to be able to move that around with any secrecy. I mean, those things were basically used as a secondary artillery piece. Shit. Do you want anything here, Jack?
Well, if you already have a fancy revolver and
Yep.
your rifle, I can take the shotgun.
Okay.
Just to have some sort of range.
You want to split the grenades 2 and 2?
Sure.
Is that going to be brawn or agility to use?
Grenade to be agility.
Okay, thank the gods. All right. I still think I wouldn't use them at all. Okay. Cool. The only question now is like, do we have any really use for this Gatling gun that's gonna actually like? Let me look here. I mean, the only thing I could possibly think of, Jack, is like we put it in the window of a nearby building, but the Pearson estate seems to be up on a cliff. I don't know if that's even going to be... Like, the idea would be to put it into a house nearby, but if the Pearsons estate up on a cliff, I don't think that's going to even be useful.
How high is that ledge?
It's probably... You'd approximate that it is maybe 15 feet.
So we'd have to get the Gatling gun up to the 2nd floor of a building. Put it through a window without anyone knowing.
Is this one story or 2?
Gun store is 1 story.
Put it up on the roof.
Put it on the roof.
We have
Sean,
to get it up to the roof.
Sean, could you make an awareness check for me, please?
2d6 or 3d6 with soldier?
3d6.
5, 6, 6.
Damn it. You sense that somebody is now standing in the door.
He puts his hand on his gun and he turns, but he doesn't pull it out quite yet.
And standing there, not looking that well, but on his feet, is the hunter Pitt Stevens. Long beard, now wearing his hat, still wearing the same ragged clothes that he had on. And he kind of looks at you both and says, "Huh, well, looks like you boys are going to have a party. Mind if I join you?"
Oh, would love to. And Sean gets his hand off his gun and he goes over and he puts out his hand. We were just trying to figure out if this thing, he points at the Gatling gun, would be any use to us or not.
Well, what's your plans? What are you going to do?
Well, unless Clarence has a different idea, I think it's siege time on the Pearson estate.
Oh, I am down for that. They sent their goons after me, tore me up good, not before I took 3 or 4 of them down. But, I wouldn't mind some payback on them.
Like, how did you get all mixed up in this?
Well, I am pest controller, taking out anything dangerous that happens to roam on by. But a few weeks ago, caught myself something which, let's just say, couldn't quite explain. Luckily, I'm friends with the doc, and he put me in on. In fact, it's one of these werewolves. So, I started hunting them, seeing what they're up to. It was until a couple of them jumped me and left me dead out by the watering hole. But I managed to make it back, and the doc's patched me up as best he can. Not sure how well I'm going to last, but seems like I owe you fellas a bit of help and some gratitude for, well, at least making me stand up now.
Well, Sean will kind of raise his arms and point and everything in the room. You got your pick of the litter for weaponry here.
Yeah. So, we're going to assault the estate, are we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other way to deal with this. It does seem like it's going to have to be some sort of extermination thing. Family and dog both. We don't have any other way in. And we need to get this done by what time is it now? Till Sean, like, he hasn't even checked the time in a long time. He pulls out his watch, and what time is it now?
It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh shit! So we have about an hour to deal with whatever problem this is.
Well, I mean, they've got themselves guarded up there, but I'm sure between the 3 of us we can come up with something fun to cause a bit of a distraction, and you boys get in there and cause some havoc.
Well,
to that end, I have been planting seeds throughout the night, at least more recently, that there may be a falling out between the wolves and the Pearsons. It seems
the
they
wolves
are
are pretty
expecting a
dumb.
payment that they're not going to get. It may be cutting things close, but I'd say we formulate a plan, get ourselves in position, and hopefully by then, the house will be divided.
Yeah. So, fighting each other maybe, or turning on each other, that kind of thing?
That's my hope.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. I mean, maybe any kind of points at Gatling gun. I think I know a place we could get this set up and cause a little bit of mayhem if that's what you're interested in.
where you think?
Well, one of the buildings out back there has got a 3 floors on it. Gives you a nice overlooking spot. You can see quite a bit of the estate up. I'm sure I could set it up there and give you boys some cover and make that house not quite so pretty.
Well, I mean, not no disrespect or nothing, old timer. Getting this thing up 2 flights of stairs on your own. Are you going to be able to do that yourself?
I can do it.
All right. He's like, Sean looks very critical about that one, but he just races on.
You just give me the signal and I'll light him up. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Anything to add there, Clarence?
Well, I'm hoping sometime in the next half hour or so, the Pearsons and these wolves will, at the very least, get into some sort of heated argument. Hopefully it'll come to blows, make our job easy, but you can never count on that. We do need to find our own means of getting in the house.
Well, there is, from what I understand, at the back of the old Watson Smith estate, it looks like there was an old tunnel up there. I don't know for sure, but I think it comes up inside the grounds. One of the disused old wells up there. I mean, it's not a nice journey, but get you inside.
Last time we came across a whale, it didn't go well for us.
I think that was more of a Cooperman problem than a whale problem.
Well, now what should the signal be? And Sean will look around for something to akin to a flare or something like that.
I'm rolling one of the grenades back and forth between my hands.
I mean, yeah, sure.
There does appear to be, so at the back, there appears to be a box of what might look like fireworks.
Well, every good party has fireworks.
Yeah, I'd probably be specifically grabbing, like, the equivalent of a Roman candle or rockets to, like, shoot toward the estate. So that, like, that might even throw some confusion and daze in them as I, like, launch them towards the estate, and everything else can go down at the same time.
Nice.
All right, so I'll gather some of those and in my pack.
Pitt kind of looks at you. Just the three of us then. From the other houses that are going to be able to help?
Well, there was a little girl, but we haven't seen her in a few hours.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to bring her on this anyway.
No place for a little girl.
In terms of the families themselves, the Watson Smiths are dealing with their entire estate being blown the hell up, and the Coopermans are, let's just say they're taking a long nap.
Damn. Well,
I'd imagine
I guess the three of us are.
I'd imagine if there is anybody who vaguely aligned with our intentions tonight, that they may take it upon their own initiative when they see, well, whatever commotion we are about to start.
Might get lucky, and maybe some of the townsfolk might help. I guess we'll see.
Well, if we had more
You
time,
boys.
I could start spreading some very insidious rumors, but I'm not sure we have long enough for those to ferment.
I mean, this place is already a war zone tonight. Two of the big families down, and goodness knows what's going on up there, but I think taking them down and cleaning house is probably your best option right now.
Oh, Sean, it sounds like you'll be able to put your new toys to some good use.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite one, and I pull out that nice revolver. I've already been using quite a bit. But I mean, grenades are fun, but damn, can they turn the tables on you just as quick as who you're throwing them at? Especially with how the luck we've had, it's been kind of swingy lately.
Yes, to that end, as amusing as I think it could be to toss one of these, it may be more useful in either yours or our new hunter friend's hands than mine.
All right, so you want to give me back the other 2 grenades? Or we'll give them to him? Maybe, yeah. Let's give the other 2 to him.
I'll take them.
Here you are.
All of a sudden, the house sees it explodes. Well, fuck.
Oh, I've been wanting to get payback at these guys.
Start laughing, kind of like creepily, and Sean just standing there looking at both of them like, all right, yeah, we're gonna get him. He just kind of like starts walking out. What the hell am I getting mixed up in? Holy shit.
And as the 3 of you stand there laughing together in the gun store, two
of them.
2 of them, sorry. The 2 of you laughing there in the gun store, you can see from outside the sun just starting to illuminate the night sky. And you know that with an hour left to solve this issue.
Oh shit, it's daylight saving time.
Forgot to set our watches back.
No, man, we've lost an hour. That would be awful. This is going to be your final hour. And I think, before we get into our final battle, that is probably where tonight's game went. A bit early, but didn't want to get into the big finale.
Yeah, we're going to want to have some
next
time
week.
for that.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. So Sean left there with the 2 laughing gentlemen.
Cackling. It's cackling. It's not laughing. That's cackling.
Cackling. Yeah.
Cackling and coughing.
And we will wait to see what happens when you plan your assault. And there we go, folks. That is our game for this evening. So you will have to tune in next week to get the final spec episode of our first arc. I hope you really enjoyed everything we've been doing. If you want to go back and catch the first couple of episodes, they are on YouTube. And this one will be going up over the next few days as well. And please do like, follow, support, tell people about us if you enjoyed it. It's all greatly appreciated. And so that is everything for tonight. If you want to find us across the social media, we are under Star Metal Productions. And you can also find us under find me under the Gamers Rest. Gents, where can they find you if they wish to?
Yes, hello, folks. Jack once again reprising my role as the ever-growing, ever-increasingly maniacal Clarence, who, got a little unhinged tonight. Lots of fun. Real fun tonight. And thank you people in chat and lurking in the background for hanging out. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. We've had a lot of fun with it. You can find me over at RPGs Uncovered on all the social medias. I got my own channel, though I've been focusing more on, this new production with these 2 lovely gentlemen here. But I got some fun stuff. If you want to check out some indie games, how to play them, some fun stories to check out, you can head over there. We do a lot of other ttrpg content
over there. And some of that is going to be flowing into what we are soon to be doing here on this channel. So go check that out. Otherwise, Tal, thank you for another incredible game, and VI,
My pleasure.
back to you.
Yeah, I am the I. You can find me on Star Metal Productions. You can find me under the I with threes rather than E's because you guys in this language don't know how to spell correctly. In terms of everything else, don't forget to follow Star Metal Productions on Twitch and on YouTube, as well as following us on Blue Sky. That's going to be where we mostly post our stuff. And yeah, hope everybody had a great time watching, and we'll see what hijinks these two cowboys get up to next week.
Yeehaw.
And that's it from us. Take care, everyone. We will see you next week. Episode 4.
Bye,
See you all
folks.
soon. Take care. Bye.